Okay, good morning and good afternoon to everyone. Welcome back. Yesterday I thought of an idea. When it comes to marriage, Chazal instituted a practice that reawakens the marriage to bring it back to the way it was. B'shas knisas l'chuppah. There's a zmanim that the husband and wife are forbidden to engage. Why? So that she's chaviv to you like kilel chuppah. So our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu and with the Torah is one of marriage, but we blew it. We blew it with the Ched Ha'ega, we blew it with the Ched HaMeraglim. So Hashem says, look, we need to get some Taras HaMishpacha going in order to reawaken the marriage. So you have one day a year where it's like Hoisa Ka'almana. You're like an Alma. In other words, Kinida Beineim, like it says in Eicha. And then when you come back, it's supposed to be Chaviva Alecha. Okay, so we're up to Siman Tzadi Beis. Sif Hey. Rachatz yadav shachas v'yisiach daito tzricha netila tefilla im yesh shloi mayim. If you wash your hands in the morning and you're mesiach das, you need to wash again for tefillah if you have water. Afal pi she'enu yadei lahem shum lichlach. Even though you don't know of any dirt, you don't know that they're dirty, they're stam yadayim, but you lost focus of making sure the hands are clean. V'lo yivarach, you should not make a bracha. V'mein loy mayim mizumanim. If you don't have readily available water, ein tzarach lachzav u'lital, you don't have to wash again. So we're talking about stam yadayim. Stam yadayim, you do need to wash. Stam yadayim, what? Does it have to be with the clay? Well, he doesn't say. So, presumably, it would be like regular netila, which we said it should be with a kli. What if you don't have a kli? In Siman Daled, Sif Yud, Noitel Kli Shamayim B'Yad Yamina V'Noisel Yad Smoila K'dei Shag Mayim Al Yamino Etchila Lo Yitom Mi V'Shlona Imshich Yalo Toy Kli Shamayim. See, there it's not clear because there it's also going on what we call negovaser, and both halachas are sort of intertwined. Let's see if we're going to find out. So if you don't have water, you don't wash again. Haga va'afilu hayadim l'chlachais. Even if your hands are dirty, v'noitlan l'tefila, and you wash them for davening, einoi mavarich. Presumably that means you washed your hands, you got them dirty again, you don't make another bracha. Ukil el siman vav. Says the Mishna, v'hisiach daita, right? So lemer shehifleg harbe. You waited a long time. Ben hanatila lahatfila ad shehisiach daita. V'chol shekain sheshayach hesach hadas ben hatil sheshach l'tfilas hamincha. Certainly there's hesach hadas between shachris and mincha. Let's say you're going to learn before davening. Let's say you learn before davening, even though you know that before you learn or in middle you washed your hands, nevertheless you have to wash again for davening. In other words, if you washed your hands for Torah, you would have to wash your hands again for Tefillah. But if you washed your hands for Tefillah before davening, you don't have to wash your hands again. What if, like this, very interesting, you're davening mincha, before mincha you're having a sandwich, so you wash your hands for a sandwich, and you were not mesiach das from the netila, and now it's mincha. The Mishna Berura says you have to wash again, because you did not wash for mincha. However, if you're mechavein befeirosh, when you washed for lunch, to wash for mincha, Rosh Hashanah Zalman says you don't have to wash again.
What does Hesach Das here mean? Mesiach Das from what? You have to be thinking about...
Your Mesiach Das from consciously guarding the cleanliness of your hands. Now, it's very hard to know, what does it mean that you are mafleg? How much time has to elapse for it to be a Hesach Das? What always throws me off is you're davening on Yom Kippur, and you go home for a break. In America we have breaks between Musaf and Mincha. You could have an hour and a half a break, yeah? So you go home, you learn a little bit, you lie down, You come back, you put on your talis. You don't make another bracha. Nobody makes a bracha again. You do not make a bracha. Brought down the Mishnah Berura not to make a bracha. So why? An hour and a half passed. Nah, it's not enough time. It's not enough time. You're Mishna Makom. No, we learned by Hilchos Talis, Shina Makom is not a reason to make another bracha. So there we say an hour and a half is not a lot of time. So an hour and a half is not a lot of time for Natilas Yadayim. Would it not be enough time for Natilas Yadayim? It's hard to say that unless the dinim of Hesach Hadas for different halachas are different. In other words, when it comes to talis, okay, I have a talis, I took it off, I plan on putting it on again. It's in the back burner of my mind. I'm going to put it on again. Not Meseach Das. But legabe cleanliness of hands, maybe a more conscious awareness is necessary. So I don't know if all the halachas of Hesach Hadas are going to have the same parameter. Okay, Tzrichim Natila. This is going on. If you wash your hands, your Meseach Das, you need to wash them again for Tefilla. The Kibbutz Meseach Das Mishna Rasan Yadayim Askani Esein. Hands have a mind of their own. V'shema Nog Makam Atinefes. I think this is what I'm saying. In other words, when it comes to washing hands, any Hesach Hadas at all is a sakana. Your hands are not clean anymore because hands, they're like a living entity. You ever see? I'm not a big hand guy when I talk. If you watch me, unless I consciously, Mishnah Berura, you'll never see my hands. When do I ever? I'm not a major hands guy. Maybe a formal drasha, I get into the hands. But a lot of people, it's normal. They're always like that. And they don't even know it. They don't even realize it. Hands have a life of their own. They're like a living entity unto itself. By the way, the Chassam Sofer has a lot of information about how hands are very connected to learning. That Yadav Rav Loi. There is an idea like that. Anyway, Yadayim Askani Yosem. Litfila, Aval Torah, V'levrachas, L'kriyashma, Stam Yadayim Ksher. For Torah, for brachas, for kriyashma, stam hands are kosher. Aval b'siman dalid, kasvim agadam, L'kriyashma, psulai stam yadayim. I'll tell you a story. One time I was in my in-law's house, and I see my brother-in-law, after the meal sometime, he goes to wash his hands, and he says, Shema. I say, hey, what in the world are you doing? Why are you washing your hands? So what do you mean? You have to wash your hands for Kriyashma. I said, no, you don't have to wash your hands for Kriyashma. You only have to wash your hands for Tefilla. You wash your hands for Shachris, Mincha Marav, not for Shema. I said, no, the Pri Megadim says, so this is a Pri Megadim that sometimes comes up, sometimes doesn't come up. It sounds like it's not Mamish Me'ikar Hadin. It's a Chumrah of Pri Megadim. Pri Megadim holds Stam Yadayim are not kosher for Shema. In other words, it's Friday night, and you want to say Kriya Shema, so it's after the meal, presumably you wash Mayim Achroinim. So your hands are not Stam Yadayim, your hands are clean. But if, any other time, let's say last night, nobody could daven Marav Bismanoi on a fast. You think people are going to wait for you to first daven Marav Bismanoi and then come home and eat? Of course not. You daven Marav before Tzeis HaKachavim, so that you, when you come home, it's Tzeis HaKachavim. Of course, every shul in the world is like that. Even in Eretz Yisrael, they don't wait to daven Marav till after Tzeis HaKachavim. You don't know what Tzeis HaKachavim is. You're not waiting 15 minutes after Tzeis HaKachavim and then breaking the fast. So, last night you had to repeat over 3 parshas of Shema. Even people who normally daven Bismanoi, nobody davens Bismanoi. There's not a minyan in America that davens Marav Bismanoi on the end of a fast. So you had to say over Shema last night. So do you have to wash your hands for Shema? The Pri Megadim says yes. The Mishnah Berura Me'ikar Adin seems to say no. By the way, even here, the Mishnah Berura is quoting the Pri Megadim. This Mishnah Berura is quoting the Pri Megadim that for Kriya Shema, Stam Yadayim is kosher. Anyway, Ein Sarech. Okay, Sivkata and Chavav. If you don't have water, you don't have to go back and wash again. It says, you have to clean them with something that will clean them. Maybe a little soya got clung to it. And you'll wipe it off through cleaning it. The Mechaber, who says you don't have to get water, is only mekel by stam yadayim. Avalam naga makam metunaf, if you touch a dirty spot, v'choshkin kisha asot tzrachav, certainly if you went to the bathroom, af betfilas hamincha, tzarach lachzar achar mayim, even for mincha you would have to go after water. In other words, now again, we learned that you don't miss tefillah bizmana, and you don't miss minyan ever for water. Even if your hands are dirty, you could wipe them. However, if you're not going to miss a minyan, you would have to travel at least a mil, and in the direction you're going, a parsa, to get water, provided that your hands are dirty, but not for stam yadayim. Sivav, ha'imid b'tefillah.
The person learned before davening. You got up first thing in the morning, and you learn it will take about an hour. And then you go to the bathroom again before davening begins.
So, did he make a bracha the first time? Or you want to know what should he do l'chadchila?
He shouldn't make antisidine.
L'chari he should... Correct. If somebody's going to learn for an hour before davening and go to the bathroom again before davening, he does not make Netilas Yadayim. He should l'chayra wait to make Netilas Yadayim on the washing before tefillah.
When you said bedafka, a person should try to go to the bathroom then, right? To be b'chayiv the bracha then. We said earlier that he shouldn't make the bracha when he first wakes up, and bedafka later, right? If he's going to learn before davening, he should go to the restroom after davening to be b'chayiv the bracha because the hands are dirty.
Again, you're not. If the guy, put it this way, if the guy has a good system, and he's not going to have to go again before davening, there's no problem with him washing his hands, making Netilas Yadayim, learning for an hour, not being Meisiach Das from Shmiras Yadayim, and he's good to go.
And he's making the bracha of Netilas Yadayim an hour after he washed his hands.
No, he'll wake up, he'll wash his hands with the bracha of Netilas Yadayim, he'll learn, assuming that he doesn't have to go to the bathroom again. Again, we learned that before davening you're supposed to check to see if you need to go to the bathroom, whatever that means. We're not sure exactly what this bedika entails, but some kind of determination needs to be made. Does a person have to go to the bathroom again? So if he never has to go again, he has a good, healthy system. He's 17 years old, right? He doesn't. So then he would wake up, he would make Netilas Yadayim, and he wouldn't need to wash his hands again. Most people, after learning for an hour, if they're boidik themselves, they probably would go before davening, or some people would go, especially if they had coffee. Yeah. So then you would not make Netilas Yadayim round 1. L'chari, you should make it round 2. Okay, Sivav. The guy's in the middle of Shemona Esrei, and he realizes he scratched his head. He's standing in davening. He realized he touched a dirty spot. It's enough to clean his hands with dust or pebbles, or wipe his hands on the wall. Says the Mishna Berura. If you're in the middle of Shema or Pesukei Zimra, you realize your hands are dirty, you realize you scratched your head, go wash them. The reason why the case of the Mechaber is you realize you touched a Machon Metunaf is because l'chatchila it's usher to touch yourself in middle of tefillah. But v'u'adinim naga batfila gufa. I guess what the Mishna Berura is explaining is, why does the Mechaber say you remember that you touched past tense? Why doesn't he say the case is you're in the middle of davening and you touch presently in the middle of the davening? The reason why we didn't pick that case is because you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to scratch your head in the middle of davening. You're not allowed to touch your arm over your elbow. You're not allowed to touch your leg at all. You can't touch your shoes. So that's why it didn't pick that case. Siv Zayin. What is a Machon Metunaf? Machon Metunaf, a dirty spot. A dirty spot are covered spots on the body which are full of sweat. Or if somebody scratched his head. Hagav. Now, what if the person just used shampoo? He just came out of the shower and he used shampoo, he used conditioner, or he just took a shower and he used 7 different soaps and body washes, and he scratches his arm, he's still full of sweat. He still has to wash his hands. It doesn't matter. Loy plug l'chayra. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how clean you are. It doesn't matter. You could have just scrubbed it. You could have taken one of those hard scrubbers and scrubbed yourself down till the skin is raw. You touch yourself, you gotta wash your hands. Says Mishna, says Rama, therefore you're not allowed to touch these places when you're standing to daven. Or likewise, if you touch the mucus of the ear or the nose, ki al yedei beged, unless you do it through a garment. So that's an interesting halacha. If somebody cleans out the orifices of the nose or the ear, they touch their earwax, they touch the mucus of their nose, they have to daven, they have to wash their hands. L'maisa li'achronim are mekel on that. Says Mishabura, the din that the Ramah says that it's usher to touch these spots when you're davening or learning Torah, it's true you're not allowed to. But if you did, b'di'evad you could wipe your hands for Torah or for brachos. V'ayin le'el b'seif siman dal b'Mishna Berura. What do we say over there? It's the Shari Tshuva is mashma, then the Zoyar, you dafka need to wash your hands with water. Therefore, it's better not to just wipe your hands, you should go wash them. What if like this, you had chocolate cake for dessert, and your hands are all full of chocolate cake? Dirty or not dirty? You're allowed to make a bracha or not? So the Sharat Sion writes in Siman Kaf Pei Aleph, that you got to wash, that you got to wipe them before you're mevarech. You got to wipe them before you're mevarech.
That's like the case you mentioned in Shlomo Zalman just now. Somebody had a sandwich before mincha. So if he got peanut butter and jelly all over his fingers, you have to wash them anyway before.
No, but Stam, we're talking about, you want to make a bracha achrayna. You had cake. Is that considered dirty? We know if you scratch your head, it's dirty. But if you eat a cake, so the Sharat Sion says you got to wipe them. The Shana Halacha says the Mishnah Berura is mashna. This is only by an istinus. The Sharat Sion is mashna even if you're not an istinus. Vaiter in the Mishnah Berura. V'im naga b'tit v'refesh. If you touch dirt or cement, efshad afil l'chadchila sharikach. It could be you could even daven, learn l'chadchila. That's not considered dirt. Aval le'el b'soif simandad kosmim gan sach l'nagas mitchila afla devrei Torah. Earlier in Siman Dala, the Pri Megadim is mashma, you have to clean even for Torah. V'chein ner lahachmer l'chadchila b'refesh, and it would seem one should be machal l'chadchila for garbage. Ha'ezen v'af. The Ramah is machmir by the tsoya of one's ear or nose. V'hagra mekel b'zeh the gra is mekel. V'chein kasav Shar Tshuva b'shem Mark Tzia. Shar Tshuva brings from the Rabbi Yaakov Emden that you could be mekel by tsoyas ha'af v'ha'ezen. Now, it's interesting. The gra is machmir is mekel by both earwax and mucus. However, Rabbi Yaakov Emden is only mekel by earwax, but by mucus of the nose, the Mark Tzia says you need to wash your hands. Why? Because it's no different than touching a covered part of your body. Why? Because it's a makom mechusa. The place inside your nose, makom mechusa. Rabbi Ari Leib Steinman said, in the name of the Chazon Ish, that the gra, who's mekel by mucus of the nose, is only if the mucus comes out. But if you go in there, even the gra would be machmer, that is a din of noigea b'makom hamachusim, that you need netilas yadayim. Interesting. Rabbi Isai, have a great day. Kol tov.
Recording stopped.